He is ready. Ryan Berget is stepping into the role of reliable starter for the San Diego Padres in big games consistently. This is key for the San Diego Padres going forward. Let's talk all about it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. We appreciate it. It's the part where I ask if you could do the stereotypical YouTube thing and hit subscribe. If not, no worries. Let's talk about some baseball. I'm talking about Ryan Berget specifically. We're a couple of starts in now. He has been recently recalled for his second stint with the San Diego Padres. Let's talk about the numbers here. We're going to show you what we're looking at Ryan Berget-wise in 8 appearances so far. And I get that that's a smaller sample size on the grand scheme of things. We have guys like Dylan Cease up in the 80s of innings, and this is not 80s of innings, but that is not a fluke, though. And I'm sure that some of you will say, oh, we did this with Stephen Kolek. He was so good for 2 games, and now he's just an average starter. Okay. If the regression from this to the end of the season sees us going from here to if we give him the rest of the season, call it 7-7 with a 4.2 ERA. I still think that that's where I'm saying he is ready to be the guy who's even-keeled and reliable. Look, right now the San Diego Padres are in the midst of a stretch where they need to hang on. You can always say that they need to win, and winning is great because winning cures everything, but right now is the hang-on stretch with the series that they've just gotten through with the Dodgers and Royals, the series that are coming up, including the Nationals, the Phillies, and then eventually again to the Diamondbacks and back in through the NL West. We're at the point where the Padres just need to not fall far enough behind. They need, in my opinion at least, they need to stay at that 5 games back in the division, striking distance in the wild card, and to do that, consistency is key. Offensive moments are big, pitching is big, but if you're stretching this thing out over, saying the next 30 games are key for keeping the San Diego Padres in perfect striking distance for the playoffs, what you need is a guy who can go out there and just not necessarily be too hot, too cold, but just right in that middle sense. And because that to me is where baseball teams are really successful, when you have a group that you can just kind of, doesn't matter who's in the lineup or who's on the mound, you have an aggregate expectation of where the team will be. So for the Padres, getting this obviously is fantastic, but you can extrapolate out and say, like I said, getting a guy who can just not lose. We had this with Kyle Hart. We thought he was going to be great. You look at his numbers right now, they're Jason Hayward-esque. Not that I'm going to DFA him. He's already in the minors. Give him a chance, whatever. But you have some of these other guys that we tried at the back end of this rotation, and we haven't seen Waldron yet this year, so I don't want to bash him or say that he would also be it. But you have some guys that necessarily you have a high and a low, and we don't always need that. I think that we need guys who can do things like what I'm about to show you here, which is keeping, again, it all in context, that hitters are going to figure him out, and people are going to look at him and really analyze what he's got, and so coaches will game prep for this. But in 4 starts against the Giants, the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers, a 2.25 ERA, 13 hits allowed over 20 innings. And that's where I was kind of a 2.25 is already higher than that 1.88. So, take that and just extrapolate it out over a couple other stats. Maybe he's not the perfect best guy, but we've got Dylan Cease. We've got Nick Pivetta. The 2 of them can be a 1-2. And then past that, I don't think that Randy Vasquez or Stephen Kolek has solidified who is better than the other. Both of them are good. Both of them are staying in the rotation. But Ryan Berget appears ready, in my opinion, to be let's lock him in and have him be the guy for the rest of the season, or be a guy, if not the guy, for the rest of the season in that conversation with Kolek and Vasquez, to just be the sturdy, sort of not negative bedrock of a pitching staff that going into the season was envisioned very, very differently. We thought that this was going to be Yu Darvish, Michael King, Dylan Cease, Nick Pivetta at the 1 through 4. And then a bunch of other guys could sort of fight over that 5th spot and let the cream rise to the top. And instead, we've got Yu Darvish is still amorphously, I don't even know. He is throwing games, but he's saying that he just can't sustain it. And I don't really know what that means in terms of how long his recovery time is. We've also got the again, I hate to use amorphous gray zone of this, but there is no linear rehab process for what is going on with Michael King. So I think you take that as right now at this point in the season, Padres we're just about to get to the halfway mark. They're in contention. They are close to seemingly having an upswing. Guys are getting healthy. Jackson Merrill's back. Xander's hitting better. We got videos on all this, so check out. That's why I hit the subscribe. Check out the feed. We've got tons of content for you. But the Padres are in a point where they, like I said, they just need to lock in with some consistency and not have guys be, having Michael King not need to rush back. Having Yu Darvish not need to rush back. Maybe we can be optimistic with both of those guys. Put both of them on we will see them at some point this season category. And if we then turn and say, okay, who's over here to step up for those guys? We don't necessarily need the future of the franchise. We just need guys who are ready to answer the call. We need guys who are ready to step up. And obviously something like this is dope and is nice and is fantastic as a Padres fan to be like, oh, like he stepped up and he was the dude. But even if it's not these numbers, and I know I'm saying this again, but it's important to me to drive this home right now, where the Padres are starting to hit better. We're starting to see Xander hit. We're starting to see Jackson Merrill stay consistently, hopefully, in the lineup. Luis Arraez is closing back in on hitting 300. Cronenworth's getting in a little bit more. Like that part of the team is starting to pick it up, and that part of the team is superstar laden. So all you need to really, in my opinion, be successful as the Padres is find guys who are ready to just provide a nice, consistent baseline and not have us stressing about, oh my gosh, this X, Y, or Z series lined up horribly where we've got to have Bergert, Vasquez, and Kolek throwing against X, Y, or Z team, and then we're just going to get cooked because 2 out of those 3 dudes are just, we're rolling the dice type of thing. And you just never know what you're going to get. If we have guys like these 3, but specifically this one's talking about Bergert because he's the new guy. We've had Kolek and Vasquez up for a minute now. If we can have guys be ready to just answer the call to become serviceable, consistent, major league, strike-throwing, aggressive pitchers, I think we've got a great pitching coach in Ruben Niebla. I think we have a bullpen that is, it's going to be taxed every now and then, and we're probably going to blow one. You can assign blame to Shildt, or you can assign blame to AJ, or whoever you want. But overall, I think we got a top 10 bullpen. I'll put it at that. I think there are some trades we can make to improve it. I think there are some moves still to be made. I mean, we've got actually, as of recently, just a couple of days ago, we've been added Brian Hoeing back to that. Like, there's some moves happening in that bullpen that I think are all positive to say that we've got a good enough bullpen that if we can find guys like this, like Ryan Berget, to be ready to be major league consistent starters, that means things are trending in the right direction. Now, whether or not that means like we're going to be Dodger killers and all that, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this guy specifically seems to be entirely ready to step up and answer the call and hopefully take a little bit of stress off of all of you guys. Let me know, though, what you think, because I could be completely wrong. Quarterbacks and pitching analysis, media knows nothing. The only people that know anything are the opposing hitters. And I will say that I'm just being optimistic, but I'm being cautiously optimistic, and I'm not saying that he's going to be an all-star or anything. I'm just saying that this guy is absolutely ready to answer the call and be the 5 starter that the San Diego Padres need right now for some stability and some success. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and like I said, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys soon.